Support us by subscribing, ring the notification bell, press all, and thumbs up. Thank you.
As they say, the vacation's over, what I was on over there. So I appreciate everybody being here to help us cover this important Border Patrol mission and talk about our statistics, and I want to talk about our FY19 numbers. I also want to sort of give a little context to what we saw last year, over the past year, and what we're seeing today. So, and as the Chief Patrol Agent for the Yuma sector, of course, I'm going to share a few facts with you before we discuss those numbers. So, for information, Yuma sector finished fiscal year 2019 as the third busiest sector in the U.S. Border Patrol. For a mid-sized sector, our apprehension numbers were significantly higher than a lot of much larger sectors with more manpower and more resources. That's important to note. The two sectors that exceeded us in apprehensions were El Paso sector and Rio Grande Valley sector. Much larger sectors, much more manpower, much more resources. One of the things I want to do is talk about why today's numbers are significantly lower than the FY19 numbers, and then I'll provide an update on the border wall construction you see here, and we wanted to come out here to the area where the border wall is being built. This section is a 5-mile section, and I think we have about a mile of this done so far. Also, I want to note the important work that we do with our federal, state, local, tribal, and military partners in the sector here to achieve these, I think, really outstanding results that we've seen over the past 6 months here in the Yuma sector. The mission is obviously accomplished through a diverse group of Border Patrol agents, support personnel. I don't want to make sure that I don't forget the support personnel that do a lot of the behind-the-scenes work that most people in the public don't see every day, but they keep all those Border Patrol agents that you see out patrolling the border and doing all the work that they do, keep them outfitted, keep them resourced, make sure that all those things that are non-enforcement related are being done by the mission support personnel. In addition to that, our federal, state, local, and tribal partners and DoD personnel, which I already mentioned, our capabilities are enhanced by technology, infrastructure, and mission equipment, and some of the infrastructure you see here today. In addition, Yuma sector gathers and analyzes information, fusing intelligence gathering and partnerships to adapt to and mitigate threats to bring a law enforcement resolution to the situations we see out along the border. Fiscal year 2019 overwhelmed our capacity and our resources, tested our capabilities, and that significantly affected our ability to engage in our national security mission. This was a border security crisis and a humanitarian crisis, unlike any other in our history. Many of you in the media joined us on numerous engagements at the border and in our facilities, and you were witness to some very emotionally impactful situations and environments. The border crisis and humanitarian crisis that we faced in 2019 led us to investigate and expose the nefarious plans of transnational criminal organizations and networks, and drive the national narrative regarding criminal organizations that profit from human smuggling and trafficking and exploiting children for criminal purposes. Transnational criminal organizations and smugglers are profiting by exploiting gaps in our legal framework and are overwhelming the legal system with fraudulent claims, along with important push factors which include high levels of insecurity, limited economic opportunity, and weak governance in many parts of Central America. Our current immigration system incentivizes migrants to put their lives in the hands of smugglers and make the dangerous trek north to our southwest border. We see the cost of these push and pull factors every day in profits derived by transnational criminal organizations in the lives lost along the journey and in the flight of generations of youth from the countries in the Northern Triangle. I'll talk a little bit about our FY19 numbers and do some comparisons. So during fiscal year FY19, which ended September 30th, 2019, the Yuma Border Patrol sector apprehended 68,269 people. 6 months ago, Yuma sector apprehended 13,924 individuals in just 1 month. Contrast that number with October's arrests of 795 individuals for the month of October. That equates to an average about 449 people apprehended per day in May, which was our high water mark here in Yuma sector, and 25 per day in October, which just ended yesterday. We apprehended a total of 51,961 family units, individuals. That was a 257% increase from FY 2018. This demographic represented more than 76% of our total arrests for FY 2019. Moreover, Yuma sector agents apprehended 7,289 unaccompanied alien children in FY 19, which represented a 34% increase from 2018. Not only are we charged with securing this 126 miles of international border as our primary mission, we are also required to divert resources, agents, and funding to process and care for the migrants entering the United States through illegal methods. The impact of diverting our manpower, which was up to 40% at times in FY 19, along with the already scarce resources in the Yuma sector, was the fact that the illegal aliens that eluded arrest in Yuma sector that we know of, and these are the ones we could count and we could be sure of, was 993 that eluded arrest in FY 19 compared to 839 in FY 18. Nationally, that number was nearly 150,000. So 150,000 what we refer to as gotaways, people that eluded apprehension. The influx required us to navigate the legal stipulations for housing and caring for family units and unaccompanied alien children. That required us to convert facilities so they could be used for holding detainees, diverting agents from the border to process aliens, perform hospital watch duties, prepare and serve meals, among many other things. Some of the reasons for the decline that we see today are as follows. Due to the influx in apprehensions of vulnerable populations, our intelligence strategies evolved to combat fraudulent family units and child recycling schemes. We identified more than 300 fraudulent family units with our law enforcement partners and collected biometric data for more than 5,000 juveniles since 2018 to curb the trend of child recycling and renting in fraudulent immigration schemes. We also conducted joint operations across the country that led to the identification and arrest of multiple criminal organizations participants and that were exploiting these migrants and profiting from smuggling fees and labor schemes once they entered the United States. To address this influx, Yuma sector also opened a temporary processing facility in June, towards the end of June, that expanded our ability to house and care for those in our custody. Temporary facility features showers, play areas, restrooms, separate sleeping and living areas for family units and unaccompanied children. The government of Mexico also has taken very impactful steps to help curb the flow of illegal migration through Mexico by increasing law enforcement presence on their southern and northern borders and operating checkpoints throughout Mexico. The migration protection protocols, known as MPP, have also helped. Under MPP, aliens entering or seeking admission to the U.S. from Mexico illegally or without proper documentation may be returned to Mexico and required to wait outside of the U.S. for the duration of their immigration proceedings. The government of Mexico has agreed to provide these people with appropriate humanitarian protections for the duration of their stay in Mexico. MPP discourages the abuse of U.S. laws and non-meritorious or false asylum and credible fear claims. Now on to border wall. As you see, we chose this backstop to highlight the efforts out here along the border, the significant improvements that we're seeing. Antiquated infrastructure was doing little to impede or deny the illegal border crossers from traversing over and under our border wall. To overcome infrastructure deficiencies, Yuma sector articulated requirements for new border wall technology and received funding for the replacement of old dilapidated Vietnam-era border wall. Together with U.S. Army Corps of Engineers and outside contractors, as you see those people working here today, CBP is in several phases of construction of 30 feet and 18 feet Ballard style wall, which it's all this style wall that you see here. This Ballard style wall will initially cover a total of 27 miles of the international border in Yuma sector. As of today, we have completed 20 miles of new wall in San Luis, just east of San Luis, and 1 mile of new wall has replaced the vehicle barriers along the Colorado River, as you see here today. And if you look over here to my right, to your left, you'll see the Normandy style barrier that is being replaced and with the Ballard style barrier. The new wall construction also includes new paved, improved roads, technology and lighting to help the agents along the border. The new wall, along with supporting technology, lighting, and access roads, will significantly enhance our ability to impede and deny illegal border crossers, drugs and people smuggling, and potential terrorists and terrorist weapons. These investments represent significant contributions to the security of our border communities and our nation. Finally, I want to remind everyone that the men and the women of the Yuma Sector Border Patrol are well-trained, compassionate, and fully equipped to save lives, and they do so every day. Yuma Sector agents made 82 rescues in FY19 while carrying out critical law enforcement duties, patrolling, protecting, and securing our border. They still rush to rescue people in need who are often lost or abandoned by human smugglers. Moreover, they often risk their own lives in the process. In fiscal year 2019, our canine teams conducted approximately 800 canine-assisted seizures of narcotics valued at more than $5.2 million. 170 human smuggling attempts were also detected by our canine teams and diligent agents conducting a wide array of enforcement duties. We also work with our Mexican law enforcement partners to share information and engage in numerous joint operations, training to detect and interdict prioritized targets operating in the United States and Mexico. The United States Border Patrol has relied heavily upon the military personnel who have helped to reinforce our surveillance, logistical, and mission support requirements. We could not have achieved the successes we have without the support of our active duty military and National Guard partners. All those who protect America and their families sacrifice much to ensure the safety of our communities and citizens, and I don't think enough recognition can ever be given to them. I am proud and humbled to serve alongside these professionals who risk their lives every day to protect America and ensure our freedoms. I also want to take a moment to thank the media professionals, those of you here with us today, for constantly collaborating with us to share the Border Patrol story in the form of press releases, interviews, radio spots, and ride-alongs. Additionally, I want to call out a couple of our locals for winning the 2019 Rocky Mountain Emmy Award. Jackie Lopez and Carmen Valencia, congratulations, good job. In many instances, you all have amplified our voice and shared our story and our message as far and as wide as possible. You too have followed along with us during this historic and monumental year of firsts, and I thank you for traveling this road with us. Your objectivity and responsible reporting is and always has been gratefully appreciated. Let me summarize by reiterating that we are encouraged by the downward trend of apprehensions and inadmissible aliens numbers that we're seeing crossing our borders illegally, and we hope this leveling off gives our agents a chance to refocus on the border security mission. We know that these numbers could always spike again. These efforts that we have in place are somewhat temporary, and we are ever vigilant, and we will continue with our infrastructure projects and our enforcement efforts as we always have been. DHS and CBP are taking every necessary step to address the root causes of illegal migration and to mitigate its impact on our ability to focus on our core mission of border security and national security. However, Unless the laws change, these numbers could easily rise again, and we will again face the kind of crisis we had to deal with in 2019. By sharing our Yuma sector fiscal year 2019 numbers, I hope it will inform and influence the national narrative to call attention to the gaps in our legal framework that need to be addressed by our congressional leaders. I am incredibly proud of the men and women in this sector and those who have been temporarily assigned here to assist us in this important mission, who go above and beyond to protect and save lives every day. That's the end of my prepared comments, and I would offer up that I can take any questions if you would like, sir. So we have in the supplemental bill that Congress passed earlier this year, we did get funding in that bill to build a new centralized processing center here in the Yuma sector. That project is currently being managed by the Army Corps of Engineers and is in a design phase right now. So there'll be a couple phases to this, where there'll be a design and then a build phase. I don't expect it to be done before the end of next year. Maybe it kind of depends on how long it takes them to get the design done and then the construction and all the funding and everything done. But it's still coming. And then at that point, the temporary facility will go away, and it looks like right now, barring any unforeseen circumstance and in budget, we will continue to utilize the temporary facility. We may downsize that because we don't have the numbers that we had. As a matter of fact, this morning I think we had 26 people in custody, and about half of those were citizens of Mexico and half Central American, and mostly family units.